forensic and international legal implications of R.A. 9851. Section 7 in the ICC arrest controversy involving Senator Ronald Bato, de la Rosa, and the Philippine Senate. The recent controversy surrounding the alleged failed arrest and escape of Senator Ronald de la Rosa under an alleged warrant issued by the International Criminal Court, ICC, has created major constitutional, forensic, legal and international implications for the Philippines. The incident reportedly involved confusion within the Philippine Senate, alleged protection by Senate leadership, and failure to complete the implementation of an ICC-related arrest operation. This issue cannot merely be viewed as a political confrontation between rival factions in Manila. Rather, it represents a major test of the Philippine legal system under Republic Act No. 9, 1851, particularly Section 7, which criminalizes crimes against humanity and operationalizes the Philippines' obligations under international humanitarian and criminal law. The controversy also raises difficult forensic questions regarding command responsibility, evidentiary preservation, chain of command, institutional obstruction, witness intimidation, destruction of evidence, and the ability of domestic institutions to investigate international crimes objectively. Republic Act No. 9, 1851, and Section 7 Republic Act No. 9, 1851, enacted in 2009, is formally known as the Philippine Act on Crimes Against International Humanitarian Law, Genocide, and Other Crimes Against Humanity. It incorporated into Philippine domestic law many principles found in the Rome Statute of the ICC. The law recognizes that grave crimes against humanity must not go unpunished, and that the state has the duty to prosecute offenders. Section 7 of the Act deals with crimes against humanity, including murder, extermination, torture, enforced disappearance, imprisonment, persecution, and other inhumane acts committed as part of a widespread or systematic attack against civilians. The law also incorporates the principle of command responsibility, meaning superiors may be held liable if they knew or should have known that crimes were being committed and failed to prevent or punish them. This provision became internationally significant because the ICC investigation into the Philippine anti-drug campaign focused heavily on allegations of systematic killings and state-sponsored violence during the Duterte administration. Senator De La Rosa, former chief of the Philippine National Police, PNP, was among the principal officials associated with implementation of the anti-drug campaign. According to recent reports, the ICC unsealed an arrest warrant accusing him of crimes against humanity connected to drug war killings, the Senate controversy, and alleged protection. Recent reports described a chaotic situation inside the Philippine Senate, where law enforcement agents allegedly attempted to serve an ICC-related arrest warrant on Senator De La Rosa. Senate officials reportedly resisted or delayed the arrest operation. Some accounts described gunfire, confusion, protective custody, and eventual escape through Senate premises. The situation generated national and international concern because it appeared to suggest that elements of the Philippine government itself were divided regarding enforcement of international criminal obligations. Critics argued that Senate leadership may have provided institutional protection to a wanted individual accused of crimes against humanity. Supporters, however, claimed that the ICC lacked jurisdiction after the Philippines withdrew from the Rome Statute in 2019. This legal argument remains controversial. Several legal scholars note that the ICC maintains jurisdiction over crimes allegedly committed, while the Philippines was still a member state of the Rome Statute. The controversy therefore demonstrates a collision between domestic political loyalty and international criminal accountability. Forensic implications. From a forensic perspective, the incident raises several important concerns. 1. Preservation of documentary evidence. International crimes investigations rely heavily on documentary evidence, including police operational orders, command memoranda, radio communications, CCTV footage, digital records, firearms reports, autopsy findings, ballistic evidence, witness affidavits. If a suspect evades arrest with institutional assistance, investigators may fear destruction or tampering of evidence. Forensic integrity depends upon preservation of the chain of custody. If political actors interfere with investigations, forensic reliability becomes compromised. The Senate incident itself may now constitute secondary forensic evidence, because CCTV footage, security logs, firearm discharge evidence, and communications records may reveal whether obstruction occurred. 2. Command responsibility analysis. Modern forensic investigation increasingly examines organizational behavior rather than merely individual actions. Under command responsibility, forensic investigators analyze chains of command, operational planning, patterns of killings, consistency of methods, geographic distribution, similarity of injuries, police reporting patterns, statistical anomalies. If killings display consistent methods across many jurisdictions, this may support allegations of systematic attacks against civilians. The ICC frequently relies upon forensic pathology, crime pattern analysis, digital forensics, and mass data analysis to establish command structures. In the Philippine context, investigators may examine whether anti-drug operations displayed statistically improbable similarities, suggestive of centralized policy direction. 3. Witness protection failures. A major problem in crimes against humanity investigations is fear among witnesses. If high-ranking officials appear protected by political institutions, witnesses may become unwilling to testify. R. A. 9851 specifically recognizes protection of victims and witnesses as essential components of justice. The Senate controversy may therefore damage confidence among witnesses who fear retaliation or institutional shielding of suspects. 4. Firearms and ballistic evidence reports of gunfire within Senate premises create another forensic issue. If warning shots were fired or firearms discharged during attempts to prevent arrest, forensic ballistics investigations become essential. Investigators would need to examine spent shell casings, firearm trajectories, residue analysis, firearm ownership, discharge timing, CCTV synchronization. Such evidence could determine whether gunfire was accidental, defensive, staged, or intended to facilitate escape. 5. Digital and CCTV forensics. Modern interests in international criminal investigations heavily rely on digital evidence. The alleged escape of Senator De La Rosa reportedly involved movement through Senate facilities. CCTV recordings, access card logs, mobile phone geolocation data, and encrypted messaging records may become crucial evidence. Digital forensic specialists may reconstruct timelines minute by minute to identify who assisted, who ordered delays, who disabled access points, whether escape routes were pre-planned. This transforms the incident from a purely political controversy into a forensic reconstruction problem. International implications. The international consequences are substantial. 1. Credibility of the Philippine justice system. One major principle under the ICC system is complementarity. This means The ICC intervenes only if domestic courts are unwilling or unable genuinely to investigate crimes. If high-profile suspects evade arrest through institutional protection, critics may argue that Philippine institutions are incapable of independently prosecuting powerful officials. This weakens Philippine claims that domestic systems alone can address alleged crimes against humanity. 2. Diplomatic consequences. Failure to cooperate with international legal obligations may affect diplomatic relations. Western democracies, human rights organizations, and international legal institutions closely monitor ICC compliance. The Philippines could face reputational damage, reduced human rights credibility, international criticism, pressure from allied democracies, increased scrutiny by the United Nations. International investors also observe rule of law stability. Political instability and institutional conflict may affect investor confidence. 3. Precedent for future leaders. If political institutions can shield officials accused of crimes against humanity, future administrations may believe accountability can similarly be avoided. This creates dangerous precedents where loyalty to personalities overrides constitutional and legal obligations. International criminal law was designed specifically to prevent political protection of state actors involved in mass violence. 4. ASEAN and regional implications. The Philippines is one of Southeast Asia's most internationally visible democracies. Neighboring states are carefully observing how Manila handles international criminal accountability. If institutional obstruction succeeds, authoritarian governments elsewhere may cite the Philippine example to resist future human rights investigations. Conversely, effective enforcement may strengthen regional norms supporting accountability. Constitutional and legal tensions. The controversy also highlights tensions between Philippine sovereignty, treaty obligations, Senate institutional independence, executive enforcement powers, ICC jurisdiction. Supporters of Senator de la Rosa argue that the ICC no longer possesses jurisdiction because the Philippines withdrew from the Rome Statute in 2019. Forensic medicine and crimes against humanity. Forensic medicine plays a central role in crimes against humanity investigations. Pathologists examine gunshot trajectories, torture injuries, restraint marks, time of death, decomposition, execution-style wounds. Patterns across multiple autopsies may demonstrate systematic methods. For example, recurring close-range gunshot wounds to similar anatomical locations across many victims may suggest organized execution practices rather than isolated police encounters. International tribunals historically relied heavily on forensic medicine in Yugoslavia, Rwanda, Sierra Leone, Cambodia. The Philippine drug war investigations similarly depend on forensic reconstruction of thousands of deaths. This explains why obstruction of investigations carries major implications for international criminal justice. Political polarization and institutional trust. The Senate incident demonstrates deep political polarization in Manila. Different factions interpret the ICC either as a legitimate accountability mechanism or foreign interference against national sovereignty. Such polarization damages institutional trust. When citizens see government institutions fighting each other over implementation of law, public confidence weakens. This is especially dangerous in crimes against humanity investigations because legitimacy is essential for social stability. If justice appears selective, politicized, or obstructed, radicalization and distrust increase. Lessons for Philippine forensic and legal systems. Several lessons emerge from the controversy. 1. Need for independent forensic institutions. the Philippines may require stronger independent forensic institutions insulated from political influence. Examples include autonomous medico-legal institutes, independent forensic laboratories, protected digital evidence centres, special crimes against humanity divisions. 2. Improved witness protection. Witnesses in international crimes investigations require relocation, identity protection, financial assistance, psychological support. Without witness confidence, prosecutions collapse. 3. Digital evidence. Preservation. Modern political controversies generate enormous digital evidence. Philippine authorities need advanced cyber-forensic systems, AI-assisted evidence analysis, CCTV integration systems, national evidence databases. 4. Clarification of ICC cooperation procedures. Legal ambiguity regarding ICC cooperation created operational confusion. Congress and courts may eventually need clearer procedures governing foreign warrants, ICC requests, extradition, Senate jurisdiction, executive enforcement authority. Prominent Manila lawyers say that no local Philippine court, including the Supreme Court, can counter ICC-issued warrant of arrest, especially those related to crimes of humanity. This clearly is opposed to the Bato de la Rosa camp's legal argument. Conclusion. The controversy involving Senator Ronald de la Rosa, the alleged ICC arrest warrant, and Senate protection represents one of the most important legal and forensic crises in recent Philippine history. At the centre lies Republic Act No. 9851, particularly Section 7 concerning crimes against humanity. The issue is no longer merely about one senator or one political faction. Rather, it concerns whether Philippine institutions can impartially investigate grave international crimes while balancing sovereignty, constitutional law, and international obligations. The forensic implications are enormous. Evidence preservation, digital reconstruction, command responsibility analysis, ballistic examination, witness protection, and forensic pathology all become central components of the broader legal struggle. Internationally, the incident affects Philippine credibility, rule of law perceptions, diplomatic standing, and future cooperation with international criminal institutions. Ultimately, the controversy demonstrates that modern forensic science is inseparable from international justice. In crimes against humanity investigations, forensic evidence often becomes the final neutral witness when political institutions themselves become divided. The Philippines now faces a historic test, whether law, forensic truth, and institutional accountability can prevail amid intense political polarization and competing interpretations of sovereignty and justice. No one is above the law. Those who twist the RA 9851 Section 7 in the future will be held accountable to their children, grandchildren, families, and victims of extrajudicial killings and the Filipino people. The Lyceum of the Philippines, Batangas, offers degrees in forensic science, criminology, and a 5-year double degree in criminology and forensic science. Soon it will offer a forensic science degree with major in forensic pathology and forensic medicine.